I worry that the people in the community will wonder what happened to TV-8 News. I'm worried that people will say, well, I don't see them anymore. Maybe they're done for. Well, we're not done for.
Now, time for Headline News Local Edition.
From the Northern Television Center in DeKalb, I'm Matthew Kurth. And before there was Headline News Local Edition, there was TV-8 News.
Good evening. This is the TV-8 News, Weather, and Sports.
Live from the Northern Television Center, this is TV-8 News, the DeKalb alternative for news, weather, and sports.
Coming to you from the Northern Television Center, this is TV-8 News.
In the early 1970s, there was something missing from DeKalb and Sycamore. Residents were without a local television news source. At the same time, something was also missing from Northern Illinois University. Students interested in television news were without a place to learn and practice their craft. The efforts of a handful of interested students and one dedicated professor changed all that. Preparations began in the fall of 1972, and on February 21st, 1973, TV-8 News was born.
The planning period's over, and tonight's the first broadcast of TV-8 News, a non-commercial nightly TV news program. TV-8 News is presented by NIU journalism students for the residents of DeKalb, Sycamore, and the university.
The professor responsible for making TV-8 News a reality was Dr. Robert Lecanto. Affectionately known as Doc, he worked to develop both the program and his students.
I have two major goals now. One is to be an excellent, hopefully a very excellent resource for the community, for them to be able to turn to us and say, well, I can see what's going on. And secondly, I would like this to be a very serious and informative kind of program for the students too.
Although we're best known as TV-8 News, we've used other names as we've moved around the dial. We became known as DeKalb 6 News in the mid-70s when we moved to Channel 6, and later as TV-10 News. Dr. Lecanto grew tired of the constant number changing, and so in the late 70s we became known as the DeKalb Evening News. But by 1982 we were back on Channel 8, where we stayed until 1994 when we moved to Channel 12 and became known as Newswatch. When TV-8 News began, our newscasts went out on what was DeKalb's public access channel. In the late 80s, however, the channel was written out of the cable franchise agreement, and when Warner Cable was forced to add a number of area TV stations in the mid-90s, channel space ran out, leaving TV-8 News without a home. However, communications professor Dr. Robert Miller stumbled across the Headline News Local Edition program, and in September 1995, NIU became the first university ever to have clearance to do local news inserts on Headline News.
Headline News will continue. Here are today's local headlines.
For the last 25 years, TV-8 News has covered the stories that have impacted the community.
DeKalb Genetics Corporation announced today it has entered a buyout agreement with Pfizer Genetics.
Former school superintendent Deere has been given $170,000 to step down as the district superintendent.
DeKalb and Sycamore residents still have not forgotten the day of the Southeast Elementary School field trip to O'Hare Airport in Chicago.
9-year-old Rebecca Westlake was killed and many other children were injured when 87-year-old Martin Horvath of Elgin drove his car into the group of children ready to board their bus.
Longtime Mayor Red Johnson died of a heart attack in September of last year after serving as Sycamore's mayor for more than 33 years.
He was a wonderful man. We're going to miss him terribly.
A recent Human Relations Commission audit has shown there's discrimination in the hiring practices of the city of DeKalb.
The DeKalb County Emergency Telephone System Board activated the county's enhanced 911 system this morning.
DeKalb teachers may have entered their second week of strike, but they will still be receiving a paycheck.
A pre-trial hearing in the Scott Hopkins murder case. Hopkins stands accused of murdering Burdette Bud Johnson, allegedly stabbing him 10 to 25 times with a Phillips head screwdriver.
A drug sweep at DeKalb High School today has resulted in 3 arrests, and one of them was a minor.
Several departments had a role in the sweep.
Residents here trying to make their message clear. They don't want an adult establishment in downtown DeKalb.
I
put together a campaign that I thought would secure the victory. The torch has been passed to the next mayor.
And finally for tonight, we'd like to thank you for turning to us for your local news, weather, and sports for the past 25 years. We are proud to serve you, and we hope to continue to serve DeKalb County for another 25 years. Headline News continues. Thank you for watching. Good night.
And that was DeKalb Today. Thank you for watching, and good night for TV-8 News.
And that's our report for now on TV-8 News.
And that's this hour's Headline News Local Edition.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.
From all of us here at TV-8, good night.
Good night.
Have a good evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Reporting for Newswatch, I'm John Clogston.
This is the CNN Headline News Network.
And good night, Betty Sharp, whoever you are.